Wisteria2909 back for another edition of Reading the Wrong Way. So since Valentine's Day was earlier this week, I thought I would introduce you to one of the greatest love stories manga has to offer, Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle. I have my own personal love affair with this series. I first saw it sitting on a display shelf when I was maybe 12 years old. I couldn't really tell what the title said because, well, I just wasn't into Japanese stuff or anything like that. But the cover art was gorgeous, and it stayed in my mind, and a few years later I saw it again in another store, instantly recognized it, and fell in love with the whole series. So, enough of that mush, but seriously, that is how powerful Clamp's artwork is, and it's really no wonder they have such a great fan base. I should also mention before getting deep into it that Clamp is a 4-woman mangaka, I guess you could say. It's a group of 4 Japanese women that do beautiful artwork and write amazing complex stories that will completely entice you. The Tsubasa series is rated T for ages 13 and up, but I would almost recommend maybe for 16-year-olds. The storyline can get a bit confusing, and there's quite a decent amount of violence that is kind of graphic. Even I struggled following the story, especially towards the ending, and sorting through the artwork, even though it's gorgeous, is a little bit difficult. That would probably be my one complaint about Clamp, is that the art is so highly detailed and phenomenal that it can sometimes be a bit distracting. You just get lost in the artwork. This is a rather lengthy series, as you can see behind me, with 28 volumes, but they are well worth the read. The main plot starts in the Kingdom of Clo, where we meet archaeologist Xiaoran and the kingdom's princess Sakura. They are childhood friends and both love each other, but have never confessed their feelings, and just like in all love stories, tragedy strikes. A mysterious symbol in the kingdom's ruins entrances the princess and scatters her memories in the form of feathers across different worlds and different dimensions. Xiaoran is sent to the space-time witch Yuko, where he meets with a ninja named Kurogane and a wizard named Fai, and all of them wish to travel to different dimensions for a different reason. So each of them has to sacrifice what they value the most to pay the price it costs, though I'm not giving away any spoilers. They receive a small rabbit-like creature from the space-time witch called Mokona, who acts as a portal to each world. Together they go off on an epic journey in hopes to reclaim all of the princess's memory feathers. So what do you need to know about this series? You will see a lot of familiar characters from other Clamp series in it. Yes, Sakura and Xiaoran are from Clamp's other series, Cardcaptor Sakura, but like the rest of this series, it's like they're from a different dimension. They're older and live in a desert country rather than in a modern-day city. Tsubasa also has a crossover series with Clamp's XXX Holic, which plays a major part in the plot, with Yuko and Watanuki being main characters. While we're on the topic, you do not necessarily have to read Cardcaptor Sakura or XXX Holic to understand what happens in Tsubasa, but it'll definitely help you once you get towards the latter half of the series, like I said, which gets kind of complicated and complex. I watched Cardcaptor Sakura's anime when I was a lot younger, and I've never read XXX Holic, but I was still able to thoroughly enjoy the series and understand for the most part what was going on. There were a few things I did have to look up, but otherwise I almost completely understand the main plot. I also want to note that I do really hope to collect XXX Holic after a few of my other current series slow down and end, so look forward to that in another video. So what do I love about this series besides the gorgeous artwork? The characters are all very lovable, and Xiaoran and Sakura especially are extremely relatable, especially to younger teenage-ish readers. The story itself is excellent. Crossovers aside, Clamp does a phenomenal job of developing not just the Kingdom of Clo, but around a dozen other worlds, which, as a writer myself, is very hard to do. All of them are fully developed with their own cultures and inhabitants. My favorite would probably be the Hanshin Republic, their first stop on the journey. Plug in! The humor in the story is also hilarious. It really kind of takes away from the more dramatic or heart-wrenching scenes. Mokona is by far the best at it. Besides being their main mode of transportation, he is comic relief to the extreme. Between him and Fai, they poke fun at Kurogane constantly, and Mokona especially has a few special powers that make him all the more adorable. You'll see what I mean when you read it. To go along with the manga series, there are also 2 character guides which not only provide summaries of what happens in the book series, but also include character and world profiles, fun quizzes, things you may have missed while reading, early sketches, a fan section, and sections that the characters themselves have lovingly put together. I highly recommend purchasing both of these books to go along with the series. Also worth noting, the second book is quite a bit larger than the first one, as well as all the other books in the series, so you may want to think about that if you're considering collecting it. Just personal preference, I prefer all my books to be the same size. By the way, in book 1, my personality is similar to Kurogane, the social misfit, but a heart of fire, and I should be living in the country of Oto, a town full of outsiders. Yeah, that's lovingly. In book 2, my personality is similar to Phi, someone who takes things at his or her own pace, and I should live in the country of Recourt, a country overflowing with mysterious powers. So, I can't exactly say how accurate the books are based on the questions they ask to get to these answers, because Phi and Kurogane are kind of on extreme polar opposite ends of the universe. So, it's fun though. There's also an art book out, which, based on my infatuation of Clamp's work, you know I love it. It covers artwork from the first 14 books of the series, all of them in beautiful full color. Oh yes, it's so gorgeous. I also want to note that there is a second one released in Japan, but there hasn't been any announcement of it coming to the US anytime soon. So please don't go getting your hopes up just to have the translator dash them. It happens all too often, and don't let it get to you. I also want to mention that there is an anime series out. I haven't had the time to watch it, but my best friend the Simman15, check him out, has said that there are a few changes from the manga, but it did follow the main story. From what I can see, just by pictures, the artwork in my opinion is more simplistic, but I think that's simply because such high details just can't be copied into any animes that I've ever watched before. I mean, I thought Cardcaptor Sakura was pretty well detailed, so just consider that if you're a big fan of the manga. The series is definitely of 5-star quality. Pretty much any series by Clamp is 5-star quality. From the detailed artwork to the complex and entertaining storyline, you will never be bored. And you will be dying to read the next volume. Seriously, just waiting for it to get in the mail or get in your bookstore or your library, whatever, you will be waiting for it. It's a romance, comedy, action, all in one nice little package. So, to end this video, I leave you with one of my favorite quotes from my favorite character, Phi D. Flowerite. There's a certain strength that's needed to be able to cry when you should. So, see you next time, guys.
When I was given freedom, oh, all I did was play. When I turned back, there was nothing to see. You closed your doors before I could open mine. Now I know, now I see, it was a waste of time.